right, thank you very much for coming into our meeting today. My name is Kristin Karnes. I am the Director of Customer Support over here at Qvinci, and my team and I handle not only tech support, but also the onboardings, the account rollout, maintenance, and special requests that might come through the Qvinci pipeline. So I will be your host today. Our webinar is recorded, and this slide deck and the recording will be sent out at the end of the call as well. I do want to call attention on the control panel for your GoToMeeting console. There is a questions or chat section. We do have agents actually standing by to take those questions. So feel free as we go through this overview, if you have any questions or topics of interest that you'd like clarified, go ahead, type that straight into that question box. We'll answer those. But then I will go ahead and at the end of the call bring some of those to light and answer them via audio as well. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So today's topic is the setup and rollout of the Qvinci application for your ecosystem. Whether you are an accountant or a franchise, multi-unit owner, or even a religious or nonprofit entity, Qvinci really fits the bill and can help you throughout your organization. So today we're going to take a look at just how easy it is to get started with Qvinci. Wanted to call to attention, we do have some upcoming webinars. We host typically 2 webinars per month. Some of them leaning more towards how-tos and trainings, and some of them having to do with more of the overview of the application in and of itself, so 101s versus actual trainings and things of that nature. So you can go ahead and register for those at any time on our website also. And some accounts that we work with currently, you'll notice kind of across the board, like I mentioned earlier, nonprofits or religious entities versus franchises across any industry. If you are an accountant who services these types of clients, whether they have units for consolidation or just one QuickBooks file or one accounting file and they need maybe multi-user access, Qvinci really can fill that niche for you and help you throughout your ecosystem. So today's agenda, we're going to move a little bit quickly today. We're going to talk about Qvinci, obviously what it is. We're going to focus on technology, benefits, creating an actual account. I'm going to take you through the actual account creation. It's about 3 screens, and you'll see just how quickly and easy it is to get started with Qvinci. We'll talk about a little more of the account maintenance side, Qvinci Support, rollout strategies, and then if you are an accounting professional or a consultant or something of that nature, we have a reseller and referral program. So we'll focus on that at the very end. So about Qvinci, we were founded in 2007. We are located in Austin, Texas. All of our technology is developed in-house. We do not outsource anything. You might notice that if you use QuickBooks Desktop, the Intuit Web Connector was sunsetted earlier this year. That does not affect Qvinci. We built our own sync application that connects through the SDK to QuickBooks Desktop or through the API to Xero or QuickBooks Online. So we develop all of our code in-house. We are Intuit's franchise reporting partner in the franchise division. When they take Qvinci or take QuickBooks out, they take Qvinci as well, kind of a 2-for-1 special, if you will. And we are a top-rated app in the Intuit App Store. The backbone of our application obviously is consolidation. That's what we do very well. Across any kinds of files, you might have desktop or online or Xero or other accounting solutions that you need to be able to consolidate these disparate financials. We can handle that for you. And we have patented technology on our mapping feature as well. The ability to bring all of this data in, consolidate it, and then also map to a standard chart of accounts so that you have relative data that is cohesive across your environment, which aids you in benchmarking and comparative analysis reports that you'll find in our application too. So a quick overview of the technology. It's going to save you money. It automates your tasks. It feeds your financial data to you in the secure cloud portal that we offer. Consolidation at your fingertips. Or if you're not working with consolidating entities, multi-unit owners or franchises, it still automates that. It provides up-to-date reports for your clients, reduces risk, and improves efficiency. A little deeper dive on the technology side, we are hosted at AWS, Amazon Web Services, very, very secure, premier hosting portal in the world. We are DoD and HIPAA compliant. We do not sync fraud-sensitive data, credit card numbers, bank account numbers, social security numbers, pull that types of data. We only pull summary level reporting. Again, like I mentioned, we built all of our technology. We connect to QuickBooks through the SDK and the API. And very secure portal. Again, no fraud-sensitive data brought in, and we do not push changes to QuickBooks either. So the data that gets brought into the reporting portal is retained and intact in your QuickBooks file. We don't make any changes to QuickBooks itself. Benefits, again, consolidation. For your multi-site entities, you're going to have, or they're going to have consolidation, whether that is the franchisor or a multi-unit owner, or maybe you're an accountant who handles multiple files for a client. Consolidation is going to be at your fingertips. If you don't have multiple entities, you still have the ability for an aggregate view inside Qvinci across all of your clients. If you are an accounting professional, think of it as a portal of sorts where you can service your clients through a single login. Speaking of logins, we don't charge for logins. So all of your clients, all of your franchises, every user can be set up. Everyone is then able to be on the same page as far as reports. It automates the ability for reporting. So you're not having to send out reports, email reports, please submit these financials, etc. Qvinci syncs with your files on a daily basis, updating the reporting portal, allowing for users to have fresh data at their fingertips immediately. We have benchmarking, comparative analysis, KPIs, a number of reports beyond just a standard P&L and whatnot. And we, in a franchise or a multi-unit environment, we have something that we call properties or filters, the ability to group your like-kind entities together for ease of reporting. So the ability to maybe introduce regions or age of business so that you're comparing like kinds in an easy-to-use manner and your entities are able to compare in that same manner as well. That feeds into the peer benchmarking report as well as ranking and the ability to compare against system averages. What does my data look like compared to the average of the top 10% best performers in the ecosystem that are 5 to 8 years old? Something of that nature. So this is an example of the Qvinci hierarchy that you can build. This might be considered more from an accountant's perspective, where I have a single Qvinci account, single login, and my clients are inside my accounts. They are known as companies in the Qvinci world, and a client might have only one file, one location. They don't need to consolidate data. They have nothing in common with, Jane Doe has nothing in common with John Smith, but they need to be set up in your portal. So you have the ability to set up these one-off entities, but then also bring in the franchise that you service. Or in a franchise environment, it would look like this as well. And all of my locations that do need consolidation would be slotted underneath my franchise company. And so we have a lot of franchisors who have a very similar paradigm where this might be their USA locations inside their USA company, and then they'd have another one over here for perhaps Canada or Australia or something like that. So their franchisees are able to benchmark and consolidate their like-kind entities in the same currency and also compare against others who are just like them as well. But this is a very great example of what we see across a lot of clients. One Qvinci account, you really only ever have one Qvinci account. But then the ability to set up multiple companies for different clients or for different franchises and manage everyone through a central portal. So what we're actually going to do is go run through an actual account creation or build out real quick. And so I'm just simply registering myself for an account. It can be a franchisor, it can be an accountant, anything of that nature, but I'm creating my portal right here. And the email that I'd like to register with, what do I want slotted underneath here? And a PCI compliant password as well. I'll simply accept the terms and subscription. And I'm going to create my account. That is the actual account creation process right there. Now I get to create my first company. Maybe this is my first client, client number 1, Jane Doe's flower shop. Maybe it's a franchise, any sort of franchise that you might deal with, a nonprofit or a religious entity or something of that nature. We're going to go with a small client. What kind of industry does she fall into? Let's just go with retail. Anything that fits my retail NAICS code, you can enter the actual NAICS code, but this is a feature that we are building out in Qvinci for industry-wide benchmarking. So just simply selecting the most applicable SIC code or NAICS code, it'll populate that in there. And what currency am I actually going to be syncing into this account? US dollar. Do I prefer cash or accrual? And then do I want to enable peer benchmarking? If this is a smaller client who has one file, I might not need that. I might go ahead and just turn it on anyways. Maybe they're going to grow and become a franchise or something like that. Do they want balance sheet data brought in or only the P&L, enable or disable? And do they operate on a weekly sales cycle? Yeah, they do. They like to track things from June 1st to June 7th. We'll turn on weekly reporting. Just simply click Next. And then the standard chart of accounts. What we give you on this page is actually a jump start of sorts. We have a number of clients who don't have a well-defined chart of accounts or standard chart of accounts, and they like to see what does the industry norm look like. So I have the ability to simply choose from a template that Qvinci provides, maybe retail or something of that nature, and I can always edit this standard chart of accounts inside Qvinci. I can rename accounts, create sub-accounts. I can blow it all away, and I can upload my own chart of accounts in the future as well. The beauty about Qvinci, though, is that I always have the ability to look at the reports in Qvinci as the account appears inside my QuickBooks file. I get the native accounts, the native COA. And then Qvinci gives me the ability to set up an alternate presentation layer, most often used for standardization, so that's why we call it standard chart of accounts. But it can just simply be an alternate view to your chart of accounts that exists inside QuickBooks. Go ahead, just select that, and again, it can always be changed in the future. And now I'm going to create my locations. Store 1, Store 2, Store 3, you name it. I can enable any naming convention I might like, Austin, Texas, 1349, Houston, you name it. And then will I be syncing the file? Me, Kristin Karnes, be syncing this file? Yes, I will, or no, I won't. Jane Doe is actually the file syncer. I'll enter Jane Doe's information in here, and then I'll click Finish. The following screen, I'm able to choose a subscription type. The Qvinci Professional Plan is our flagship model. It offers all the reporting capabilities, reports, peer benchmarking, and again, all the users that you might need. Unlimited login access, unlimited syncing, you name it, and I can choose from a monthly or an annual subscription model. And the moment that I enter my billing information and I click Start Trial, I do get a 2-week free trial, but the moment that I do that, my account is complete. and my setup is done, and I'm able to actually sync my file to Jane Doe's flower shop. Now, once I start my trial, I can go in and I can add another Qvinci company, another client, or another franchise if I need to. So that's how fast I'm able to set up a Qvinci account and walk through this creation process and be into my account. We're not going to go ahead and enter billing information here, but I'm going to go ahead and actually log in to our live demo account so that we can see on the other end what it looks like once I have my account actually set up. So thinking back to that hierarchy that we saw in the PowerPoint presentation, here's an example of Client 1, Client 2, Client 3, and my franchise, an exact replica of that build-out. And I have the ability to, from a single point of reference, migrate to my different clients and look at their financial data, run reports, add users, and also jump into any multi-unit entities that I might have. Now, consolidation takes place at the company level. So the locations and the data files that are in this multi-store franchise, client number 1 and client number 2 will never see that. They'll never be able to benchmark against it. And the individual users who exist inside this franchise environment will never see the other franchise users either, but they have the system averages and the comparative analysis against the others in the ecosystem. So if I am John Smith with a location inside this multi-unit franchise, I'll only ever see my Austin, Texas location. I can report upon it as often as I like. I can sync it as often as I like. I can come into Qvinci and run my reports, add additional users, and whatnot. But I will never see George Jones, who owns location 3, inside of this franchise. Just the comparative analysis type reports. So let's run a profit and loss, for example, and let's run this as if I am John Smith, who owns Austin, Texas. When I log in, my dashboard page only ever represents Austin, Texas. I can run a report, and I can build my P&L just like I would even in QuickBooks, by month, by quarter, etc. Grab a date range that I might like. And then, do I want to look at my chart of accounts as it appears inside QuickBooks? Why, yes, I do. So I'm going to uncheck this account mapping box. Or no, I'd like to look at the standard chart of accounts as it appears mapped into my franchise's defined standard COA. Let's go ahead and build this report. Here is my P&L using a monthly frequency, just very similar to what I'm going to pull inside my QuickBooks file. But maybe I don't have access to QuickBooks. Qvinci gives me access, remote access. If it's a desktop file, I don't have to be at that computer. I just go to qvinci.com and I log into my account. I can also, though, run a comparative analysis report, perhaps ranking myself against others in the ecosystem. Here I am, Austin, Texas. I only ever see my location. I see my total income, and I see that I am 22 out of 27. I don't know who is above or below me. I just have my relativity ranking. If I owned 5 locations, I could report on one at a time, or I could put all 5 together. So let's actually run a consolidation report real quick. Let's suppose that I own those 3 locations. And again, by default, only those locations funnel into my login. And so I would simply select profit and loss. And maybe I want by location. This is a really popular frequency that we have in the system. I want to see, I don't have data for those particular locations in here. Let's grab all of them and pretend I'm a large multi-unit owner. So let's suppose that I own all of these locations, and here they appear side by side, and I can actually consolidate them. I've got a total column on the far right-hand side, or I can run individual reports on individual locations. I can, again, map into the standard chart of accounts and run a report using the standard COA, or I can use my chart of accounts and look at all the disparateness that might exist across my ecosystem. A peer benchmarking report is very similar to what we just saw. Peer benchmarking gives me the ability to run it on the P&L or the balance sheet. I can compare to the average of the ecosystem, or I can compare to just top performers. So let's pretend, again, that I'm John Smith with only one location in my login. When I run this particular report, it's going to give me the standard chart of accounts by default, because how do I compare if I'm not using the same chart of accounts? And here we'll see that for the date range I selected, 25 locations contribute data, and here's the average of the 25, and here's my store. And I could take this report many depths further. I could turn on vertical analysis, and instead of looking at my accounts as a financial value, I could look at it as a percent of total revenue. And then I could even take this report to the top 20% average and look at a subset of the ecosystem. So maybe I want to compare to the top 20% in the ecosystem, the 4 or the 5, or the 100 out of 500 or something of that nature that gives me that subset in the ecosystem. And I can see, what do I need to do on a VA percentage? What is my account? Engine sales as a percentage of total revenue. The system average for the best performers looks like X, and I look like Y. What do I need to do to maybe become like the top 10% or top 20% in the ecosystem? And so the peer benchmarking report is a report along with ranking that you're not going to find in QuickBooks, that you're not going to find unless you have this multi-file ecosystem, this portal that gives you the ability for consolidation and whatnot. And you'll notice all reports can be exported to Excel or to PDF or memorized in our memorization, our custom report builder tool as well. And so I have at my fingertips, in a 5-minute time frame, the ability to set up a Qvinci account, a Qvinci company, and sync my locations into Qvinci so that I have reporting at my fingertips in a very, very short amount of time. No heavy lifting. And the standard chart of accounts feature, a lot of our clients actually think of it almost as an afterthought. It does not prohibit you from taking an account and syncing your files. If anything, it actually, Qvinci aids you in the construction and the creation of a standard chart of accounts, because you're looking at all of the data and you're able to see, what does everyone do? They all call it lease instead of rent. Maybe I need to adopt lease as the nomenclature, or something of that nature. They're starting to break down the chart of accounts into sub-accounts as opposed to just at the parent level. Let's introduce that in Qvinci as well. So it brings to light all of your data in an easy-to-use portal, the ability to set up additional users at no cost, and the ability to run these reports at your fingertips as well. What we do offer are onboarding services for really larger clients, those that have multiple entities. If it is something that, as easy as that was, it's not something that you have a champion internally to help you with this creation, to go through and actually set up all of your locations, reach out to your users for syncing or something of that nature. Qvinci actually offers an onboarding package where we will be your champion. Who knows the application better than we do, and we are glad to spearhead that for you. So again, it is an elective service, but it is a very popular one with franchises or multi-unit entities, religious entities, nonprofits, something of that nature. And what we do is we actually work with you, collaborate with you to create your account. We did not touch on properties in this demo, but to set up your filters and your properties so you can easily identify your like kinds and run meaningful reports on your similar entities. We'll help you define that and actually implement that. And then the real value of this particular offering is that we will be the champion reaching out to your franchisees or to your end users to help them with syncing their files. We'll take that lifting off your shoulders, and we'll also train your users as well as they go through that process. So a syncing webinar might take about 10 to 15 minutes of a user's time, but we're going to actually train them on how to use the application as well. And then we offer corporate training webinars throughout the onboarding process and the account setup process as well to train your corporate users or your top level users also. So it looks very similar to this. Again, doesn't have to go in a specific flow. Like I mentioned, that standard chart of accounts doesn't have to be completed up here and put in place. It could take place much down the line if that was something that you needed. Maybe you just wanted to get the data into the ecosystem. Very flexible, but overall it looks similar to this type of workflow. Our Qvinci support team, my team, is available Monday through Friday. We offer live chat, email, and phone support. We will schedule one-on-one appointments with your users to help them with syncing their file. And then again, our department obviously handles support, tech support, and things of that nature. But the onboardings and the account setup and the how-tos and the trainings, that all funnels through our Qvinci support department as well. So we have a very interactive knowledge base, links to how-to videos and training material and things of that nature. And if you are a large organization, maybe handling multiple clients or a franchise with a number of entities, just some common rollout strategies for gaining adoption fast and easily across your organization is, plain and simple, roll out your type of file. If you happen to know that part of your ecosystem is using QuickBooks Online versus Xero versus desktop versus some are using back of the napkin or Excel, maybe focus on those that are ready to go, that might be on a compliant tech package or something of that nature. That makes it a lot faster because you're not calling out across multiple types of users in your organization. You've identified those who can easily onboard quickly and efficiently because they're using a compatible software. You can also roll out to your multi-location clients first. Again, in a franchise type environment, if you have multi-unit owners, they go through one sync session and they sync all files or all classes in their organization that need to be brought into Qvinci, and you're knocking out a number of entities at the same time. The same is true if you are an accounting professional or a consultant managing a multi-unit entity or just similar types of clients. I'd like to load all of my clients that are in the QSR space or in the retail space. Think in terms of like clients to get them set up in a more efficient manner. And then if you actually have access to the data files and they don't reside at the end user level, you can actually go through, sync all of the data. We have a number of franchises that actually operate in that manner, or nonprofits as well, but go ahead and sync all of the data, get the portal populated, and then invite the users after the fact to come and look at what has been contributed into the ecosystem. That is if you have access to those data files. And we talked a moment earlier about the Reseller and Referral program. We do have both of these programs available, and they are for accounting professionals, consultants, and individuals of that nature. But it's a program that is free to you, that you're able to kind of harness, will train you to be a Qvinci professional. You get a nice little badge, but we'll put you on our website as a partner and help you with bringing your clients on board so that you and they can make better business decisions and start using the application in the most meaningful manner. So we do have actually a reseller and referral site or tab on our website, and we would love to talk with you if you'd like to go ahead and just fill that out and maybe get a little more information. We'd love to talk with you about how you can use Qvinci to save time, to keep your clients up to date, and things of that nature. So be sure to check that out under the Qvinci.com website. So now what? You see how fast it is to get an account set up with Qvinci, and how easy it is to roll out this type of a solution across your entities. We have sales reps, account managers, etc., who are able to help you. They have a dedicated knowledge in your type of industry. So whether you are a nonprofit or in the home services, medical and dental, QSR space, you name it, we have individuals who have knowledge of your types of industry, and they can speak to how others who are like you are using Qvinci. And we'd love to talk with you. Sales@qvinci.com. The individuals that are listed on the screen are glad to take your call and assist. And again, this slide deck will be going out with a recording of the webinar as well. And we just want to say thank you greatly for attending today's training. If you have any questions that did not get answered through the chat or the questions feature inside of GoToMeeting, go ahead and type those in. We'll leave this up and running for a few more minutes. And I think that a couple of questions are coming my way, so I'll be glad to answer those for you as well. Otherwise, if you think all of your questions are met, we thank you greatly for attending today and hope that we can help you in the future.